Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to RonMan Gaming, and in today's episode, we're going to be taking a look at my NES collection. Also, if you're new here and you like my content, please make sure to like and subscribe, as well as hit that bell notification so you stay up to date with RonMan Gaming. I just want to say before I get started, I know that I don't have the biggest or best NES collection. There are many other people out there who have more impressive NES collections than mine. I just wanted to show you what roughly 13 years of collecting looks like, at least for me. I have 3 NES systems in the box. None of these are technically complete, but I am working on it. My buddy Sean over at Retro Reminiscence did a series where he completed an NES action set, so that inspired me to try and complete my NES sets. So it's a work in progress. Of course, I also have an NES hooked up and it sits happily on my TV stand. I have it hooked up to the TV through composite video, not RF. As some of you may know, the NES is only capable of mono sound. That means the audio only comes out of one speaker. So I went to a local audio video store and picked up a couple of these cables. It doesn't give the NES true stereo, but it allows the audio to come out of both speakers on the TV, so that's good. When I play the NES, I just use the standard controller. I love the look of it, and I do find it comfortable. When I'm at the local game store, if they have authentic NES controllers in stock, I always buy them. That's why I have, well, quite a few of them. I have an NES Max, but I don't know about this controller. I am not a fan of this D-pad. I also have an NES Advantage. It's best used for shooters. I don't really like shooters though, which means I don't really use this controller. I did a whole video on the NES Advantage, so check that out if you're interested. I also have a bunch of NES Zappers, both in orange and gray. These accessories are used with light gun games like Hogan's Alley and Duck Hunt. I don't really enjoy light gun games either, so like the NES Advantage, I don't really use the Zappers. I have the Power Pad. I've actually never used it, and, well, I guess I don't even know if it really works. I suppose I could test it out for the sake of this video. Yep, it works. Last year, I picked up the U-Force off a lady on Kijiji. It came with the box, and she only asked $50 for it. This thing sucks the big one, but it's a neat piece to have in the collection. I have a Game Genie in box. I love the Game Genie. I love finding new ways to mess around with old games. When it comes to Super Mario Bros. 3, the developers actually left in a debug mode, although not accessible to the player. That is, until the Game Genie came along. You should check that out if you have both Mario 3 and a Game Genie. It's a lot of fun. Alright, now let's jump over to my collection of NES games. First, let's take a look at some of my boxed games. I keep them over on this shelf here. I have a lot of the essentials, like all 3 Mario games, both Zeldas, and all 3 Castlevanias. I have all 3 Mac Venture titles too. Shadowgate and Deja Vu are pretty easy to find, but Uninvited is the hardest one to come by. I bought my copy on eBay back in 2010 for $50. I tire kicked Uninvited for a while before I bit the bullet and dropped the $50. Back then, I thought $50 for a complete in-box NES game was a lot of money. Now, I'm so thankful that I picked it up when I did. I have DuckTales 2 in box with the manual. This game is absolutely fantastic. I actually didn't even know they made a DuckTales 2 until I was in my teenage years. I have a PAL region Little Samson. I disabled the lockout chip on my NES, so I am able to play this. A PAL version of Little Samson is still worth a lot, but not nearly as much as the North American version. Because of the price, I'll probably never get my hands on a North American copy, but I'm fine with that. Speaking of game prices, I'm sure you're all aware of how high they've gotten. Because of this, I don't think my NES collection will grow much bigger than this. I refuse to pay astronomical prices for these games. So because my collection likely won't get much bigger, I figured it's a good time to make this video. Anyway, back to the games. I have Ultima 4, Quest of the Avatar. I've been meaning to review this game. It's an actual open world NES game, really. You You can pick whichever character you want, do whatever you want, and in whatever order you want. This game is great, definitely check it out. For the sake of time, I won't show each game individually, but real quick, I have Fester's Quest, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, River City Ransom, Chiller, Shockwave, Dragon Warrior 3, Demon Sword, Micro Machines, and many others. Let's move over to my loose NES cartridges, which are on the next shelf. I've actually filled this shelf, and now the excess games are placed up here on this shelf. I have most NES games, but I am missing maybe 100 or slightly less than that. I picked up Color a Dinosaur a few years ago and paid $100. As a collector, it's times like these when I question what I'm doing with my life. I spent $100 on one of the shittiest games on the system, just to say that I have it. I have Dragon Fighter. This is a much better game than Color a Dinosaur, but I paid $300 for this. I played it for maybe 15 minutes. It took me a lot longer than 15 minutes just to make $300 at work. What am I doing? I have all 6 Mega Man games. 1, 2, 3, 5, and 6 are all cartridge only, but I have 4 in box. I have Bucky O'Hare. I like it, but I don't like it as much as other people seem to. Metal Storm is another one. Yeah, it's okay, but I'm not gonna go nuts over it. I love RPGs, but sadly, this is one area where I think the NES library is lacking. There are a number of RPGs for the system, but there are not many that I enjoy. I have all Dragon Warrior games, but I've only tried playing the first one. I got pretty far, but eventually I got bored with it and I never beat it. Because of that, I never moved on to the subsequent Dragon Warrior games. I love the Final Fantasy series, but I'm not a fan of Final Fantasy on the NES. For me, most NES RPGs are too grind-heavy, archaic, and are not very exciting. A few RPGs I do like are Willow and Ultima 4. If you know of any other RPGs I may like, let me know down in the comments. I'm not a big sports fan, but let me tell you, Dusty Diamond's All-Star Softball is an awesome game. I also like Blades of Steel, ice hockey, and California games. When I was a teenager, one of my favorite things to do on a lazy Sunday afternoon was to play Family Feud. I don't really play game show video games, but Family Feud is a great time.
Name an animal with 3 letters in its name.
Frog.
The NES also has some great beat-em-ups. If I were to pick my top 3, I'd have to go with Ninja Turtles 3, River City Ransom, and, believe it or not, Battletoads Double Dragon. There are many other great beat-em-ups like the Double Dragon Trilogy, TMNT 2, and Mighty Final Fight. Alright, let's move over to some of my unlicensed games. I have a handful of Tengen games like Tubin, Alien Syndrome, Gauntlet, Klax, Rolling Thunder, Roadrunner, and a couple of RBI baseball games. I think my favorite out of all these is Tubin, maybe? I don't know. Look at this dude. I'm Tubin while drinking soda. I'm having fun, as indicated by my thumbs up. Anyway, let's keep going. I have Spiritual Warfare, Double Strike, Bible Buffet, Captain Comic, Crazy Creatures, Master Chu and the Drunkard Who, Death Race, and Menace Beach. I also have some of those weird gold carts, you know, with the switch on the back. I have the Ultimate Stuntman, Big Nose the Caveman, and Quattro Sports. I also have MiG-29 Soviet Fighter, but this cart is silver for some reason. I only have one reproduction cart for the NES, and it's of Super Mario Bros. 2, which was originally released on the Famicom disk system. So I guess you could say this is the NES version of the Lost Levels. I can beat the Lost Levels on the Super Nintendo All-Stars collection no problem, but the original Mario 2 is much harder. At the very bottom of this shelf are all my doubles. I'm not sure what to do with them. Should I sell them? I don't know. But either way, here is where they sit. Oh yeah, I have a reproduction cart of The Lion King, so I guess I have 2 reproduction carts. I've never played it. Maybe I can review this game at some point. Word on the street is that it sucks nuts. I have a few variations of Mario 3 as well. This is the most common version. I also have the Left Bros and the Red Stripe versions. I believe the Red Stripe version is a Canadian exclusive. Before we wrap this video up, I'll show you the few Famicom games I have. I have Super Mario USA, which of course is the North American Super Mario Bros. 2. I have Demon Sword, Kid Dracula, and Konami World, among a few others. I got this bootleg game free from my local game store. What is it? There's a picture of Count Orlok from the 1922 film Nosferatu. Hey, 1922. That movie's 100 years old now. That's weird to think about. Anyway, I figured this would have been some horror game, or maybe a Castlevania bootleg. Well, let's pop it in and take a look. Batman? What? Are you kidding me? Why would they put a vampire from a silent horror film from 1922 on a Batman Famicom cart? They probably thought, well, this vampire is a man who probably turns into a bat, and this game is called Batman, so technically Count Orlok is a Batman. I mean, I guess I kind of understand, but that's a pretty desperate stretch if you ask me. So that's a look at my NES collection. I doubt it'll get much bigger, but I'm happy with what I have. I've been doing this YouTube channel for just over 3 years now, and there are still plenty of games for me to review, so this channel is not going anywhere. If you like this video, please make sure to like and subscribe and leave a comment down below to let me know what you think. Guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.